everyone, Niko Ana here. Today we're going to talk about how narcissists can only exist within a system that is toxic and therefore designed to enable them to continue to extract their narcissistic supply from everyone around them. And this is very important to understand because it really helps us understand how we can remove ourselves from these systems, and how when we do something like modify our contact or go no contact with a narcissist, someone in your life that you're currently in a relationship with, how there's going to be some fallout that is going to happen after you do this that you may not have expected. And it's really better to know this ahead of time, although we don't always. Some of you that are watching this might actually be in the middle of it and have already experienced the fallout, or maybe it was a long time ago. But what's really helpful to understand, whether you are going through it or you're about to, or you did, is that the narcissist cannot function within a system that is healthy, a system that has proper boundaries, a system that is cooperative, that is life-giving, that is supportive of everyone in the system, that has the whole in mind, an idea of oneness, an understanding that we're all connected at the core, and that what happens to one of us is going to affect the other and vice versa, and that we're all in this together, right? That's kind of the gist of a system that's healthy and is sustainable, like any system at all, a family system, an organizational system, corporate, government, it doesn't matter, public, private. It could be a system of friends, it could be clubs, groups. Any kind of system that exists in this world is going to be one of two kinds of systems. There's only two kinds of energies in the world. That's that which is life-giving and that which is life-taking. Or also you could say it like that which supports life, and then that which is toxic or poisonous. That's what the word toxic means, is poisonous. So there's only two kinds of systems. I mean, it can't really be one way or the other. And this sort of is the crux of the issue I'm about to get to, which is why you can't have your foot in both worlds. But what I'm going to tell you about this is that toxic systems, and we'll just say toxic family system first, because that's really the most common, one of the most common ways you can identify with it. And toxic systems are always set up to enable an abuser, and doesn't have to be a narcissist. It can be any kind of abuser. There's many kinds of mental illnesses that cause people to abuse other people, but we're talking about narcissism. So a narcissist can't exist in a vacuum, right? Because the whole idea of narcissism is that they are extracting supply from their external environment in order to continue to feel sustained, that's their only goal, right? That's what drives everything they think, feel, do, be, and have, is that getting that supply from everything in their environment, everyone and everything. And so they can't exist in a vacuum, because where are they going to get their supply, right? There's nothing there in a vacuum. So they have to be somewhere where they have access to those things. Now, the only way they can have access to those things is if they've got a network of people, whether it's a family system, just a regular straight up family system where you have parents and children and, extended family and all that good stuff. There has to be, those people within that system have to be participating almost always subconsciously. I mean, really want to tell you, I'm not saying that you're bad or wrong for being in the system, but what I'm saying is that we're all playing our roles in the system, and we don't realize it. Okay, we don't realize it. And that's the benefit of awareness. When we start to develop awareness, when we do personal development, we become aware of our behavior, we become aware of how we're contributing to things that we don't want in our life anymore. So if we look at the system, we can say, oh, okay, well, I see how this narcissist here is setting up this network so that everything's working for them. And in order for it to work, they have to keep these people over here kind of, under wraps. They got to keep these people in the wings, and they got to keep those people appeased, and they have to manipulate those people in a certain way. And then this person over here is, usually the person that is the enemy. There's all kinds of psychological things that are going on there that I won't get into the deep psychology of it, because I'm not a psychologist, but it's very, very clear that the narcissist has to have that set up in order to continue to operate as a narcissist. Now, here's the thing. Narcissists don't like boundaries. They don't like to be held accountable, right? We know this. They don't even see that what they're doing is wrong or harmful. They can't even literally, they can't even see it. Their brain is broken. They can't let themselves see it, And so therefore they can't exist in healthy organizations. So they'll end up sort of lurking in companies and places where there's not clear boundaries. There's codependency, because narcissists have to have codependence to get their supply. It's the only way. So there's codependency. There's enablers. There's all levels. And the only way that you can heal and move on is you have to extract yourself completely from the system that's enabling that narcissist. And I know you don't want to hear that, because maybe you're thinking, well, I can't. And that's another video. Okay, so let's just set that objection aside for now, and let's just keep going down this premise. You cannot keep your foot in both worlds. You can't say, well, I'm going to, cut off contact with the narcissist, but I'm still going to have a relationship with these other people who this narcissist is still connected to, and those people think this person is fine. They don't see anything wrong with their behavior. But I'm going to do that, or I'm going to have this life over here where I'm trying to create healthy relationships, and I'm trying to fulfill my potential and, do my work in the world and show up and share authentically. But I'm going to keep this one toe over here in this other world that I just came from. And I'm just going to keep my toe over here so I can stay connected to certain people, or whatever the secondary gain is there. I mean, we all have it, and it's usually subconscious. Usually. You can't do it. It's not possible. I just have to tell you that it's not going to work. It's not going to work, because it's impossible to keep one toe in the water and think it's going to be fine because I'm usually over here. But what's going to happen is there's just going to be this undercurrent all the time. Again, there's access, and that energy, that toxic energy, is going to seep through those people, or however it is you're still connected to that world, and it's going to permeate your being. It's going to get to you. It's going to get to you. It's going to trigger you. And then when you get triggered, it's going to all start again. All that neurology is going to fire, and you're going to have all those unwanted feelings. And the work that you've been doing, it's not going to be undone, but it's going to halt your progress. It's going to sabotage your ability to heal. It's kind of like being an addict of some kind, like, alcohol or drugs. I mean, you can't go cold turkey and then maybe just have one little drink every once in a while. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that is not possible. That will lead to a relapse. You all know that, right? Or if you hang out with people who drink, like if you drank and you have this circle of friends and they all drank and you all drank together, you know what will happen if you try to get sober and then you hang out with those people again and think you can just sit there and not drink and watch them drink, right? It's not going to happen, or it's going to be very hard. It's going to trigger you again. The whole point of doing modified contact or no contact is to create this healing container, meaning you get in this container and then nothing else can get in there. All that comes in there is life-giving things. The only thing you let in container are life-giving things. Whatever you let in, whatever you bring in with you, whether that's, self-care of some kind, therapy, coaching, energy medicine, yoga, counseling, whatever it is for you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, but it has to be life-giving. And you cannot get in that container and then try to stay connected to a toxic system. okay? So, oh, I know that's the bad news, but the good news is, okay, the good news is that when you're able to make that tough decision and extract yourself from the toxic system completely, and it could take some work. You might have to actually make some hard decisions, and you might have to make some decisions about contact with people other than the narcissist, and that's just something you're going to have to work through, and it may take some time. But you have to understand that when you experience the fallout, you're going to see all those threads come apart, and you're going to find out who is really your friend and who is really not. Who is really actually codependent on the narcissist other than you, who's an enabler, who has fear and weakness that the narcissist is playing on, and it's causing that person to not be able to stay neutral, or to consider that there's other perspectives, or to possibly, even distance themselves from the narcissist as well. You're going to see all these things come up, So what you need to do is just remember that you're doing this for your own healing. You're doing this because you're not trying to make other people comfortable anymore, right? And that includes people around the narcissist. They're going to get triggered. Some of them are going to get mad at you. It's not your job to make them comfortable. It's not your job to take care of them either. This is part of the work. So once you get past that stage where you almost go through withdrawal, it's tough. And then when you're in that healing container and there's no one in there triggering you, you start triggering yourself, because you're going through your mind and you're imagining all the things people are saying about you, or you're having arguments in your mind with the narcissist. You're making it up in your head. It happens, and you trigger yourself. And that's the part that you have to really work on. That's why you need the container, because what you're doing is you're cleansing your psyche. You're healing your inner world where all those voices live. They live inside you. They've been there for a long time, and they'll stay in there even if you remove yourself physically from narcissists and other unhealthy people. Those inner critics, those inner voices, those inner abusers are going to stay inside you until you cleanse them and you release them. And when you're able to do that, then you won't want to be in the unhealthy systems anymore. You will see how unhealthy they are. You will see the truth. Just like if you were to become sober, and after a certain amount of time, the thought of drinking alcohol would be, ugh, right? Like you think, oh, I don't even want that. Like, no, I don't want that in my life. That sounds disgusting. Or, I would never do that to myself after all this work I've done. My life so much better. You would start to really embrace the ways in which you've healed and what it's given you. And you would see and know, and you would embrace how far greater it is than what you thought you may have lost from that system and from those relationships. Okay. All right. I hope this is helpful to you. And if you need some more help on this path, I do have a free course that you can check into. You can learn how to do Heart Shine EFT method to help start regulating your nervous system, calming you down, learn about boundaries, learn a little more about different types of narcissism, and just start to get educated and take some steps towards your healing. So you can get the link to that free course in the description below this video. And I do hope you subscribe and like my channel if it helps you. Please share if you think this would help someone else. Take care. Bye-bye.